The Raptors have themselves a pizza party, 3 wins in a row, including back-to-back ones in Atlanta against Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks. Let's go to the film room. The Raptors have won 5 of their last 6 games, and the difference has been on the defensive end. And a lot of that has to do with Scottie Barnes. He's typically the weak side help in the Raptors defensive scheme. Here he does a excellent X out on the rotation there to stop an open 3 for Krejci. Then falls back on the play with Trae Young blazing his way back and just gets his hands in the middle there to force a turnover. Against Onyeka Okongwu, just rises up and an incredible block going all the way. Nice swing pass by Davion Mitchell to RJ Barrett for the 3. And you're seeing the wing size, the length of Scottie Barnes being such a deterror around the basket when he's paired alongside a bigger center, Jakob Poeltl, Orlando Robinson tonight, who was excellent. We'll get to him in a second. But when he's paired next to those guys, he can kind of just roam around and use that length to be incredibly disruptive. That's how the Raptors are winning on defense. And when he's engaged, that's when they are absolutely at their best on that end of the floor. Here off ball, closing the gap and blocking the Larry Nance 3-point shot. Then playing excellent drop coverage against Trae Young, using his length to force a turnover for Trae. Again, as the weak side help a little earlier in the game, in drop coverage, steps up to really deter this floater from Okongwu. Another time as the weak side help, deterring the layup of Larry Nance Jr. Again, using that length in passing lanes as well, grabs the steal and goes all the way. And the same idea here, just active in passing lanes to get those steals. And so Scottie is playing incredible defense this last month for the Toronto Raptors, and it's made a world of a difference. I think the Raptors right now, especially with Emmanuel quickly out and Davion Mitchell in, they have the infrastructure to succeed defensively because Davion is constantly battling at the point of attack. And so Davion did great work over these last couple of games against Trae Young, really put him in tough positions to succeed, especially at getting downhill, was a pest, right? And so that aggression paired with the length of Scottie Barnes on the back end, and you throw in guys like Jakob Poeltl, you throw in guys like Chris Boucher, who also have that length. Orlando Robinson again tonight was really, really great and active with his length as well. You throw in tons of length next to that aggression, the defensive scheme works, right? Even despite the holes. Grady Dick had a short leash tonight, a couple of possessions where he had some defensive miscues, late on rotations, late on closeouts, and he got subbed out, and the Raptors went with Bruce Brown, who was more tight on rotations, more close. He was connected defensively with the team more often and is peskier in passing lanes. And Jacoby Walter was another guy who can use his length in passing lanes. I believe he has like a 6'7", 6'9" wingspan. Correct me if I'm wrong. It doesn't really matter to me, but he's a long dude. And so ultimately, when you have that aggression at the point of attack, when you're so aggressive and you're forcing guys into driving lanes, you need to have that length to compensate for that. And that's where Scottie Barnes comes in. That's why the Raptors are succeeding, because it's the blend of the point of attack defense that you see from Davion Mitchell and the help side recovery of Scottie Barnes. And that is the awesome part about this scheme the Raptors have been trying to succeed at defensively. Unfortunately, the point of attack part falls off a cliff when Davion is not on the court. Jamal Shead is growing in that aspect. He's still not a perfect defender. Obviously, a rookie still has to figure out how he can win on that end consistently. Emmanuel quickly, we've talked about his struggles defensively on that end and why he's not necessarily a point of attack stopper. And so when you're missing that aspect, it's harder for Scottie to succeed because you're asking Scottie to play out of position defensively. And while I think he has grown on ball to really, kind of take the effort of trying to be a better on-ball defender, and I think he was tonight in certain possessions too, he is so good as an off-ball defender. He is an all-defense level player when he is using his length and activity. That's how Giannis Antetokounmpo won a Defensive Player of the Year, folks. Exactly the type of defense that you're seeing from Scottie Barnes right now. That is the type that I expect him to play for the rest of his career. That's the type I expect for him to eventually become an all-defense player with. And it's about stacking that together for an entire season, right? That is what you need from Scottie Barnes moving forward. It's finding ways to do that while also being this hub for the team offensively. And over the last month, he is doing that. That's why he's back to playing an all-star level. And the team is winning because of it. And, health is a huge part of it for sure. The Raptors bench has been incredible over this winning streak. I mean, they had 40 plus points in 6 straight games. They've been incredible. Kelly Olynyk, who didn't play tonight, was great in their first 5 games of this little win streak here. Chris Boucher has been exceptional. Bruce Brown has punched in and played great minutes. Jacoby Walter has kind of slid into, I would say, like the 10th per man up type of thing, and he's been great. He's been really good in his minutes, getting opportunities, trying to figure it out offensively. For a rookie who's trying to develop and is getting good reps in the 905, it's impressive to see him make some plays, show some flashes right now. And tonight, the sort of like Reggie Evans award, if you will, shout out to Will Liu, and shout out to Samson, who also did that Reggie Evans award for a little bit. But like, that guy had to be Orlando Robinson. Stepped up tonight. Huge. Was massive, especially in that second quarter, as a 10-day guy to come in and be as impactful as he was in a win. Wow. Like, that is enough for, I mean, if I was in the front office, I'd be like, okay, maybe we should give him another 10 days to figure this thing out, because he was awesome. Let's go to the film room and break down Orlando Robinson. Really great rim protection from Orlando Robinson. Great drop coverage against Shea too. And again, it's that combination of Davion's pesky defense and being a deterror. Great job executing here in drop, and it ends up in a stop for the Raptors. This time, Jacoby gets beat on a closeout, and Robinson is just there to clean it up at the rim. Doesn't get the block, but deters the shot. And we saw a lot of that. Like, again, here in this situation, in the post, deters the Clint Capella post up, gets a stop. In drop here, Scottie gets beat off the dribble. Robinson with the block, gets a stop. Another block here for Robinson, stopping the drive of Dyson Daniels. Splits the difference well between the roller and the ball handler, and stops Trae at the basket. Once again, pick and roll coverage. Stops the alley-oop attempt, which is really impressive because Trae is an incredible passer. Like, that is pinpoint accuracy from Trae, and Robinson using his length to deter that is really impressive. Where the lob gets thrown over top, but he still maintains position and gets the block on Clint Capella in the post. That's great defense. And here it's the combination of Davion and Robinson and their length that gets the steal on Trae, and the Raptors are out and running. And so Orlando Robinson was huge in this game, physically and literally and, mentally, if you will. I want to check his plus minus here. Let me see if I have it on deck. Orlando Robinson was +8 in 20 minutes. Okay. He was great. Excellent work from Orlando Robinson. And like, it kind of shows you, I'm not sure, like, realistically, guys, he's a 10-day, right? So I'm not sure how much longer he has on this team. Hopefully he gets more opportunity. Hopefully he gets more run. Maybe the Raptors bring him in for another 10-day and another 10-day after that, and eventually ends up in a standard contract for him. I love it when dudes get rewarded for great play. That would be awesome. But realistically, you can look at the archetype of what Orlando Robinson provides as a backup big. Massive dude, great rim protector, smart, in terms of splitting the difference defensively. So he's great in a deep drop situation. He uses his length well, doesn't foul a ton. I know he had 4 fouls tonight, but like generally is a pretty well-positioned defender. And I think offensively, there's a lot of room to grow. He took a 3 tonight. Was kind of active in the middle of the floor, but some of his shots and push shots were short. You see Jakob Poeltl thriving in those scenarios, but Jakob just isn't as big as Orlando Robinson is. He's a huge dude. And so it kind of reminds me of like what the Raptors would hope Ulrich Shamshay will be for them either next season or the year after that. And Ulrich has a much higher potential, ceiling, if you will, especially offensively, where he might be able to stretch the floor more, and he can be this rim runner for you, and he can kind of leap out the gym. The athleticism is there. Robinson is a little bit more ground bound, but defensively, stopping shots at the basket, the block shots, the rim protection, all of that stuff is what you hope Ulrich Shamshay can eventually be for the Raptors. So you see how that can be successful as a backup to Jakob Poeltl. And so I kind of want you all to get excited about the fact of I think even if it's not Ulrich or Orlando Robinson, that eventually there will be a backup big for the Raptors. Maybe it's Jonathan Mobo. Maybe they see Mobo being that guy for them eventually. He also has a lot to grow on the offensive end of the floor, and he's undersized. So that archetype of player, which is like a giant to bring off of the bench, might be something that the Raptors should look at. I know there's like Kaman Malawak in the draft, and there's Derek Queen in the draft as well. And so those guys are kind of in the range of where the Raptors are at. So We'll see what they prioritize when it comes to the draft itself. I know people want Cooper Flagg. People want Dylan Harper, maybe potentially Ace Bailey or VJ Edgecombe if those kind of scratch your itch. But we'll see what happens with this Raptors team also, right? They are now winning games. They're now in a position where they're probably a little better than they expected to be, truthfully. And I think that will actually incentivize them to make more trades. Not more trades. I think that will incentivize them to make the trades that they are hoping that they can make a little bit more. Because it is Bruce Brown contributing off the bench and winning his minutes. He was great tonight. Let me see what he had. He was plus 27 in 27 minutes, had 8 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Like, he's doing well. He had 15 plus points in 3 straight games for the first time since 2023, which was the Nuggets title run. And so Bruce is playing really well. Kelly, before he got hurt against the Hawks in their first game, was playing really, really well. Chris Boucher, obviously putting up great offensive numbers, had 23 points tonight. Huge, massive off the bench again for Chris Boucher. Has had an incredible month. And so you look at these guys who are like actively winning minutes for the Raptors. And I think they probably are realizing, like, damn, this team is a little better than we would like for it to be right now. So I think they will be incentivized a little bit more to make those trades for those players. That being said, it's sick to watch this team compete right now. It's sick to watch this team be connected. It's really fun to watch them figure out games and win games. And you kind of need these moments in the season because it's not all development when it comes to just taking losses and internally developing. Eventually, players need to be rewarded on the court with wins, and having a stretch like they're having right now. And I think it's important that they're having this stretch right now because you think about the development that Scottie Barnes has had over the last 2 months, the mid-range scoring, the post playmaking, the kind of craft that he's working on offensively in that area. And now having that plus the defense, it's really all coming together for Scottie. And he's looking like an all-star. So that's development, but it's also turning into wins. RJ figuring out how to play next to Scottie, how that works offensively, how he's able to impact the game on that end. I think RJ is like really focusing on the defensive end, and while he still has tons of miscues and lapses and whatnot, like you can tell that he is trying to improve on that end because the way he beats himself up when he makes those mistakes. If you watch him closely, he kind of like really hit he's like, damn it, every time he makes a defensive mistake. So he's working on that internally. We'll see how that develops over time, but like you can see the developmental wins happening. It's good that those developmental wins are happening and turning into actual wins, at least temporarily. You don't want this team to go on a massive run. Obviously, they're not going to go out and make a play-in. I don't think they're going to prioritize the play-in. And with the deadline 2 weeks away, they're in a position now where their players who they are looking to trade are playing really well. And so they can capitalize on that opportunity. I think they will capitalize on that opportunity. Give guys like Jonathan Mobo more run. Give guys like Jacoby Walter more run. Maybe even a guy like Over Shamshay eventually more run. We'll see what happens. That being said, it's good that this team is winning. And it's good that their superstar in Scottie Barnes is figuring it out on both ends of the floor and playing the type of basketball that we know he can get to, which is great. Folks, subscribe to the Raptors Republic YouTube channel. Appreciate you guys, as always. We really do. Thank you so much for tapping in and riding with us over this last, season. It's been a tough season, but now things are getting a little bit more entertaining, a little bit more fun. We hope that you're along for the ride with us. Thank you very much. Appreciate y'all. Peace out.